All right guys, here's Tuesday's workout on phase 2, 25 seconds of work with a 20-second break. Our focus today is strength. So everything we're doing today, we're trying to get the maximum amount of weight we can lift during this time. It is 5 rounds, so we're gonna get relatively tired during this time, but that's okay. We're really trying to focus on getting as strong as possible at the same time. So first what we're gonna do is a landmine deadlift. So on a landmine deadlift, first thing is the feet position. We want it just like we would do on anything else. We want the end of the barbell right in line with the ankles, right? So first set the kettlebell back, aiming toward the back of the ankles. Same thing with the barbell, we want it right in that middle point. One thing to think about is when we're standing up with it, you just gotta make sure it's not too far in that we're gonna like hit ourselves as we come up in this position. So you're gonna RDL back, hinge here, make sure we get the strong chest, and we're just gonna squat just a little bit to grab a hold of the barbell. From here, I'm gonna grip, hold both hands, wrist in. Tall, coming through, squeeze my glutes nice and tight. On this position, we're not gonna be able to really get that full extension of our back. That is okay. I'd rather you just get a little hunched over and squeeze the glutes tight. Coming back down, touch the ground. Squeeze up, come back down, touch the ground. So again, I'm okay if you don't get those shoulders way back, because that barbell makes it so you can't. It's really about glute extension, squeezing that butt really tight, coming back down from there. On this one, again, we do want to stay a little bit heavier with it because it's going to feel really light, and we don't want it to be a cardio exercise. So we're going to be able to put multiple weight plates on it, make it as heavy as they want to go, challenge them to be strong in this position. From there, though, to make it easier, we can always keep modifying it down. The first one is to take it down to a 10-pounder with just the barbell. Then from there, we can even go lighter. We can go with a 35-pound barbell, and with a 10-pounder. We can go with a 15-pound barbell as well. So try to keep progressing as much as possible with the barbell. Worst case scenario, if you just can't get the weight light enough or they're struggling with it, we can always go over to a kettlebell. Sometimes it's more might be a mental thing than a physical thing. You can always do it with a kettlebell deadlift too, drive your hips back and forth. We're on a deadlift, we're gonna go all the way down, come back up. But that's like our last resort. We're not gonna put kettlebells out, we're not gonna put them out for display. That's just for you to regress to if you need to as you go. Okay, exercise number 2, coming over to muscle cleans. So this is going to be a pretty new exercise for everybody here. So on this one here, we call it two-handed kettlebell muscle cleans. So the weight's going to be still relatively heavy. This position is going to take slight coordination from people. So first thing you're going to do, you're going to have your kettlebell, and you're going to stand tall. I want my hands on the outside of the horns. From here, I'm going to dip. Very important, dip. See that? I'm not hinging. I'm not really squatting either. I'm just driving my knees forward as I come down in this position. So tall here, dip, and I'm going to squeeze my glutes violently and catch. Back down, dip, catch, dip, catch, dip, catch, dip, catch. See that movement? We're kind of coming down in that position. Dip, squeeze, catch. It's going to take a little bit of coordination. People might be slightly nervous at it at first, but it's going to take a little bit of practice on that one. For that one, really, the only modification for that is if somebody really struggles and nervous about that, we can probably move ourselves back to like a kettlebell RDL. If they're just not struggling, they're not able to hit that position, just to get them in that like movement pattern a little bit. But we really want to focus on that muscle clean. I think everybody should be able to do that. There's no injury pattern that should be affected in that way. Coming over here, we have our single arm push press. So the single arm push press, we're going to keep our abs nice and tight. We're going to put it on one side. I'm going to ask them to start with their non-dominant hand first. So for me, I'll be starting with my left side. So from this position here, we're going to dip, again, just like we had. We just practice this. Dip and drive. Dip, drive, catch. Come back down. Dip, drive, dip, drive. I do want this weight to be relatively heavy. So in terms of that, when I drop, bring the weight back down, I have to really, as I dip in this position, dip and drive. I have to catch it. And this position be strong overhead, and then I'm going to bring it down under control. It's not probably going to be quick enough where I can go like that. It's more of a dip, power, catch, okay? As we move through that position. Regression for that today, because we have shoulder issues, we can always go from that position to just a single arm curl. Instead of that, on that one, if we need, we can always go to band pull press if we're really having some shoulder issues. Going over to the rip trainer. Station number 3. On this one, we're looking for a rip trainer rotation. So first thing I do on a rotation is feet square. I'm going to have them grab, when they're using these, I like them to grab a hold of this, give me a lanyard, I guess. So that way it doesn't whip them as they go around. So I usually have them grab a hold there, grab the bottom part of it, and then the top part is the starting point. Make it a little bit harder, we can move our hand down it. This hand doesn't need to move the closer, this one stays in place, but this one can move up and down. The closer it gets to you, the harder it gets, farther away, the easier it is. Then from there, we're just rotating our body completely around to the stick's pretty much facing out the other way, and come back down, okay? And then we just want a little bit of speed. Make it a little harder, come in. I can always walk out a little bit as well. Push, back, forth. Another thing we'll have with this is all these will be set up with mediums on them. Attached to it as well, we'll have another one that's a light one that they can attach to make it a little bit harder if they need to. We just don't want them to walk so far out there that this band is super stretched or they're too far out here and they're in the way of these other ones, plus it puts a lot of tension against the band. So we're going to have multiple bands that make it a little bit harder for them. That one is about speed and that nice quick rotation. And that's going to happen a lot too when they fall away. And the last station we have in this survey today are slider climbers. So these last two stations are really our cardio components. The other three are strength. So these last two are cardio. Push-up position here. We're going to get in this, and all we're going to do is just be running quickly, right? They can go as fast as they want. We're just trying to burn them up. This would really burn the quads up. A little bit easier, get rid of the sliders, more of that cardio climber, less stability, and then they can also just turn it into a slow mountain climber if they need. Alright guys, so the finisher on this one is going to be Sally. Never done Sally before, it's a song, bringing Sally up, bringing Sally down, so and so, so forth, okay? So what you're doing is you're having them do a movement to that time. So the blue band is our little bit lighter band, and our black band is our hardest resistance. Most people are going to want a black band, but blue band is going to be more for beginners. Sometimes people that have really large legs also like the blue one because it's not as tense against that. So all I do is put the band over top, hold it above the knees, and this position here, we want to make sure that the glutes are close enough that I can touch my heel in like a heel touch position, so that way I make sure it's glutes involved, drive my knees apart, and up, position here, and down. So what we break, this is going to be reverse of what the song sounds like. So when it says bringing Sally up, you're going to be paying attention to bringing Sally down part as a reverse, right? So usually in a squat one, it would be bringing Sally up, which means you stand tall, bringing Sally down, which means you squat down. The down part's the harder position. So what we want to do is make sure this is the harder position. So it's going to be bringing Sally down, bringing Sally up, bringing Sally down, bringing Sally up. So you have to explain that to people so they kind of remember it. What we usually do is we'll play the song for like just a split second so they can kind of get used to it. And then we'll like explain what we're going to do up and down. And then when they first start, it's going to like glutes up, glutes down, kind of go with them and coach them up. It'll become very routine after a while. And that's our workout for today.